Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I'd like to continue on the 36 eggs a day diet debate. And I'd like to focus on bodybuilders that either did or probably did the 36 eggs a day diet. In short, the answer to this would be Vince's students. Vince's students were introduced by Vince himself, obviously, when they were training in his gym. Many different diets, including the 36 eggs a day diet. Some have gone on record saying that they definitely followed the diet, especially for competition or for bulking up. Others, I'm assuming, have suggested it. I'm just saying that because reading some of the material, either in magazines or books, they suggest that they've had a large consumption of eggs and therefore, having trained under Vince, would have followed this diet as well. Here on the cover you can see Freddie Ortiz and Chuck Sipes with Vince Gironda. Now I know Freddie was definitely a student of Vince Gironda and is one of those that may have likely followed the diet. I don't know whether Chuck Sipes did or not, but let's have a look at those that have claimed to definitely have followed the diet, or at least who are pro eating whole eggs. Gaston. Well, Gaston was not a student of Vince Gironda. That's just a stupid example. I was told, yeah, Gaston eats 5 dozen eggs. He does. No, but seriously, let's get to the actual bodybuilders themselves. As I mentioned, Vince was the trainer of the stars. I mean, here we've got Rick Wayne, a golden era bodybuilder, a real legend who used to train in Vince Gironda's gym. In the center photo, we have the star of the Rocky films and Predator, of course. His name is Carl Weathers, and he also trained with Vince. There's Rick Wayne as well, sporting a fantastic fro. Now, on the last picture, you've got Larry Scott and Freddie Ortiz outside of Vince's gym. Again, out of all these people, the only one that has admitted to having whole eggs, and a whole heap of them, is actually Larry Scott. The others, I assume, I haven't read much material on Freddie Ortiz, I have to admit, Carl Weathers or Rick Wayne, but I assume that they were also, because they were Vince's students, would have maybe tried the 36 dozen eggs a day, or at least been heavy consumers of whole eggs. Speaking of his students, as I mentioned, not only did he have bodybuilders, but he had plenty of actors. Clint Eastwood was one of them. I don't know who this guy is, but he obviously looks like an actor, so I'm assuming that's what he was. And I don't know whether any of the actors actually ate 36 eggs a day, but they probably were definitely whole eggs. The rule was, if you didn't do what Vince did in his gym and what he said to do in his gym, he would throw you out. It's as simple as that. So this is why I assume that many of his students were at least pro having eggs, and that is whole eggs. Those that have either mentioned the consumption of an enormous amount of eggs, or at least have definitely done the diet, are listed here. Arnold Schwarzenegger, definitely pro eggs, and I'll get to that in detail. Rick Drasin, if you read some of his if you see some of his YouTube channel videos, you'll quickly realize that he also ate a very large number of eggs. He's got some videos on that. Don Howarth, definitely. Bill Grant, both definitely used the 36 eggs a day diet. It's on record. Mike Hatz has gone on record more than once saying that he used to have a huge number of eggs. You can read that up. Rick Wayne, as I said, also may have used eggs for bulking up, and many others. So let's get to Larry Scott. He's probably one of the first students that was famous from Vince Gironda, and he has gone on record to say that whole eggs are the best food for bodybuilding, bar none. He actually ate an enormous amount of eggs as well as meat and cheese, and that's actually what he used to cut up. So not only did he use it to bulk up, but also to cut up. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know a lot of you don't believe in what I'm saying, but I'm actually probably going to have to do a separate video. If you read Arnold's Education of a Bodybuilder, you see that his protein drinks there contain whole eggs. Whole eggs, milk and egg protein, and usually some milk. Remember, when Arnold got to the States, Joe Waiter actually took him to Vince Gironda, and he introduced himself and said something like, "Hi, I'm Mr. Universe, Arnold Schwarzenegger," and Vince said something like, "You look like a fat whale," or fat a fat F-U-C-K to me. And you can see that when Vince first saw Arnold, why he actually said that. Arnold looked rather smooth. And so Arnold learned quite a lot of Vince's diets. And if you read all of his books, you'll actually see that they parallel Vince's teachings. Many of his diets that Arnold actually recommends are direct copies of Vince's actual diets. If you read the New and Modern Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, you'll see that Arnold has protein drinks as well with up to half a dozen eggs. And he's supposed to consume these 3 times a day. And it is stated on record that Arnold used to eat mountains and mountains of eggs. So did he follow the diet? I am pretty sure he did. And I'm going to try and find as much evidence as I can and actually do a separate video on Arnold's consumption of eggs. Bill Grant and Rick Drasin were 2 other bodybuilders well known for their whole egg consumption. Not just that, Bill Grant has also admitted to using the 3 dozen eggs a day diet for competing. And there he is, looking absolutely ripped to shreds. Rick Drasin has also, as I mentioned on his YouTube channel, stated that eggs were consumed in large amounts, and he was one of those that used to consume large amounts of eggs every day during the golden era for his bodybuilding purposes. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I've given you a nice list of mostly Vince's students, actually they were all Vince's students, who have either admitted to using on record the 36 eggs a day diet for cutting up or for competing or for bulking up, or at least bodybuilders that have definitely stated that they used to eat plenty of whole eggs during their bodybuilding career. Understand that being Vince's students, they all use Vince's diets. Here is Vince Gironda in a classic pose, and of course, I haven't mentioned one of the main people, or the main person that actually used these diets, and it was Vince Gironda. Vince Gironda himself, of course, any diet that he actually recommended, he actually did himself. He actually, for example, from what I understand, from what I've read, survived on eggs alone for months at a time. So Vince Gironda is another example of a bodybuilder who used the 3 dozen eggs a day routine. Again, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and this series of Vince Gironda's diets. I will continue making more videos on this, seeing that it's such a hot topic. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching once again. Leave me a comment. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.